American employees.
WECT just obtained a copy of that call, and we have now learned the SBI has opened an investigation into allegations of obstruction of justice at the Columbus County Sheriff's Office. Investigative reporter Ann McAdams has this exclusive story and joins us now with that recording. Ann?
Fran, on one end of the phone is current Columbus County Sheriff Jody Green. On the other end is Jason Soles, the man who previously served as interim sheriff while officials settled a dispute over the 2018 election. We should warn you, there is some graphic language in this call. Sheriff Green says, quote, he is sick of these black bastards and that every black he knows needs to be fired.
If I had to fire every mother out, guess what? I'm tired of this. They ain't happening no more. No God more.
That's the voice of Columbus County Sheriff Jody Green. He won his seat by 34 votes in an election that was so highly contested he'd been temporarily removed from office while officials settled the election disputes. That was the setting the night Green called acting Sheriff Jason Soles, saying their office had a snitch.
Immediately after being appointed the interim sheriff, started to get a lot of phone calls from Jody late at night. And this one particular phone call that we received, he made the comment that he hated Democrats. And then he said, I take that back, I hate a black Democrat. And I knew right at the end, I was like, wow, this is coming from the sheriff. And I had to start recording those conversations.
Former Sheriff Louis Hatcher was the first African-American ever to serve as sheriff in Columbus County. Green says on the call he's specifically concerned that people in his office are leaking information to Hatcher and Melvin Campbell, another African-American officer Green fired shortly after taking office.
It's stopped. Tomorrow's gonna be a new day. I'm still the mother sheriff, and when I'll go up there and fire my goddamn black bastards. They think I'm scared. That's stupid.
It gets worse. After the sheriff explains that he's getting phone records from Verizon to trace anyone in his office who's called Campbell or Hatcher, he lets Soles know the plan.
We'll get the snake's head off. Period. And Melvin Campbell's the biggest snake as Louis Hatcher ever dared to be. Every black that I know, you need to fire him to start with. He's a snake.
Former Sergeant Melvin Campbell said he was so surprised when he heard this recording of the sheriff talking like this about him, he had to listen to it twice. Before taking the job at the sheriff's office, Campbell, who received the Order of the Longleaf Pine from the governor, spent 30 years as a highway patrol officer under Jody Green's supervision.
And I worked with him, and it kind of shocked me. You know what I mean? That came out of his mouth. I thought we was friends. But with friends like that, who needs enemies?
In the months that followed, the only two black members of Sheriff Green's command staff were demoted or fired. Soles says ever since making that recording, he's been working to bring it to the attention of county commissioners, court officials, the Attorney General, and the SBI over concerns that the county's most powerful law enforcement leader had a bias against black people.
And I was told to just keep documenting everything that happens so that we would have a paper trail of it, and we did.
But Soles said no matter who he and his supporters turned to, nothing happened. Soles is now running against Green for sheriff and doesn't want people to think his actions are politically motivated. But he says people need to know the real Jody Green.
And I didn't want to do this to begin with. You know, I wanted help. I wanted to do it the right way. And I have reached out to everyone that I know to reach out to. I've even tried to get to the governor. You know, I started at the bottom with the commissioners and worked all the way to the top, to the AG's office and the governor's office. But I just can't seem to get any help.
We spoke to Sheriff Green about the recording on Monday. At the time, he said he had no recollection of that conversation, so we provided him with a copy of the recording. Late this afternoon, he posted a statement on Facebook saying his office serves citizens of all races. And although he admits to using offensive language, he denies saying anything with racial or malintent. Green said he would cooperate fully with the SBI investigation. If you would like to hear the entire recording, we have it posted online inside this story on WECT.com.